let's wrap this bitch up and finish with our last movie review finally on a fucking happy note. We will be reviewing Blazing Saddles.
Oh, I'm glad I got all that shit off my chest.
Yeah, I know. I think because you weren't able to express it like last week. You're a bit jammed up.
Yeah, like I think I can actually like sleep better now.
All right. Yeah. So, yes, Blazing Saddles is a comedy written and directed by Mel Brooks. Of what is it? The Producer's Fame. Oh no. He didn't do the original one, right?
Yeah,
or did he? Oh, he did. Right. Okay.
Yeah, he did The Producers, Young Frankenstein,
right.
Spaceballs,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of great films.
Right. Yeah, it's this satirical take on the Western, and it crams in every slur, every un PC thing you can think of into this movie.
Yep.
And it is great. And it is great because of it. Because again, referencing Owen Benjamin, he once was referred to as a sacred cow slaughterhouse, and this is if any moniker fit so aptly, it would be to this movie.
This killed all the sacred cows right in this film right here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Again, every ethnic and racial slur possible, every un-PC thing, everything that social justice warriors now hold up to such regard, it is utterly decimated in this movie.
And it's fucking fantastic. Because here's the thing, and story, I don't know if we necessarily need to go too much into the story, because that's not really what's the important part of what makes this movie funny.
Right.
But the fact that the reason the film does all this stuff, and it's not because like it's some people say, oh, it's a racist movie, we could never make this film today, blah 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 blah. But the reason it was done is because it's making fun of how ridiculous, it's a caricature of what people think racism is. And sure, I'm pretty sure there's maybe like 0.2% of people that are within the United States that either think or talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is like it's a cartoon. It's not reality. People don't think like that. People don't
really
act
is.
like that.
I mean, if you needed any more proof that this is a cartoon or this is lambasting the idea of race, if this was doing nothing but lambasting the idea of racism, then all you have to do is look to the character played by what's his face. Sorry. Cleveland Little, who plays, Sheriff Bart, and how cartoonish he is. I mean, he is like the literal embodiment of Bugs Bunny in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Because there's like the scene where he's riding into town for the first time. And they're and the townspeople, they're not expecting a black sheriff. because who would ever think of such a thing that could be possibly happen? And then everyone he goes in front of the townspeople, and they all and they all start bringing out their guns, and they start all pointing their guns at the new black sheriff, and to kind of get himself out of it, he points his own gun at him, and he starts pretending or he makes fun of the idea oh, a black man is holding another black man hostage, and so he plays into the white people's ignorance.
Yeah. Well, the fact that he also gives some sort of Acme bomb to this one of the thugs.
Oh yeah, Mongo.
It's
Yeah, it's he literally comes into the soundtrack from Looney Tunes, in Bugs Bunny style, wearing what is it, a delivery boy kind of uniform. It's like Candygram, and kind of that nasally, almost like a bellhop uniform, coming in with his arms all high up. It's like Candygram from Mongo, and then he signed, and then sign here, please, and then he gives him the package, and he's and he waddles back out again, and then boom.
Yeah, and this movie literally makes fun of everything. It makes fun of racism, sexism, everything. It's
Oh right,
it's
yeah,
so
and the stereotypes, because what is it? One of the government officials, um, enlists this entertainer to seduce Sheriff Bart, and he turns off all the lights, and then they're supposedly fooling around, and it's oh, it's true about oh, it's really true about black men, and it's oh yeah, baby, you know it, and then the light comes back on, and then they're just eating schnitzel or bratwurst or whatever, and it's yeah, we can eat a lot.
Yeah. Well, there was the other thing where I knew that this movie is it's making fun of racism as just all the dumb shit that people think of is there's one of the final scenes of the movie where Hedley Lamar, the antagonist of the film, he is recruiting every bad guy that he can to run this town into the ground. And you have towards the end, it's this long list of rapists, and the guy's what was it? One of the quotes was what did you do? It's well, I raped, I stole, I raped. It's you said rape twice. Well, I love rape. And then as you go further down the line, there's guys that are dressed up in Gestapo uniforms.
Right. Yeah. And then and then you had literal Nazis.
Yeah, literal Nazis, and then hooded Klansmen at the very end.
Right. Which Gene Wilder and goddamn, why do I keep forgetting his name?
Bart.
Cleveland Little. Bart.
Yeah.
They kind of knock out and take the place of, and it's yeah, and the way that they are able to knock them out, it's because Gene Wilder's character is hey guys, look what I got, and then pulls out Sheriff Bart out, and then the Klansman's oh, we're not having that, so they go to stomp on him.
And Sheriff Bart says we're gonna have sex with all the white women, it's got.
Oh yeah, when he gets dehooded, it's where are the white women?
It's like I said, it's the most ridiculous thing ever, and that's the whole point of the film. It's making fun of racism. It's not PC. It's making fun of all that stuff. It is Gavin McInnes talks about it. It's bringing a lot of color and fun into a movie.
Right, yeah, it's like movie like this isn't endorsing racism. They're not saying like, oh yeah, racism is a good thing. They're making fun of it to like so that it doesn't have the same doesn't have power over people.
Yeah, it's showing how stupid it is.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because like you see like the behavior of the townspeople when Sheriff Bart first comes, and it's like like people like no one like it's like it's exaggeration for clarification. It's like no one acts like this in real life. No one is
Yeah,
like no
like
one
so,
is gobsmacked by a black person.
but the unfortunate thing is that's exactly what uh people these PC thugs think of like when they go to like any place that has a lot of white people. It's like that we're completely gobsmacked that there's people with color on their skin. Yeah, that's not reality. That's a fucking cartoon.
Exactly. I mean, if yeah, I mean, yeah, because again, like people who look at this movie now, they might confuse that this movie is glorifying or endorsing racism, but it's doing the exact opposite. It's like
It's complete opposite
it's
of
the
it.
complete. It's utterly destroying the concept of racism. Because I
It's
mean,
showing how
you think about the actors. Like the actors are in on the joke. They get it. They wouldn't be like the black actors. They wouldn't be a part of this movie if they actually thought that this movie was endorsing or promoting racism.
right. You look at like how the way Clavon Little portrays Sheriff Bart, and after the scene where like he first strolls in the town and ends up putting a gun to his own throat, and it's like it's like kind of acting like a cartoon character. But then like when he finally goes into the sheriff's office, he breaks the fourth wall. It's like man, they're dumb. It's kind of like showing how like ridiculous and stupid that the whole thing is.
Precisely the
Showing
point.
how there's no reality that this is a thing.
Exactly. Exactly right. That is the exact point of the movie. It's an utter cartoonish look at what people think how the West was, or how or how racist people act. This is a complete subversion of what people think. This is a good subversion. Not in that
Yeah.
not in that crappy Ryan Johnson way.
Oh God. God. Ugh. I don't want to get started on the Star Wars rant again. But yeah, this is to me, this is the ultimate comedy film
Hmm.
that it's slapstick, it breaks the fourth wall, it makes fun, it's kind of a middle finger to the PC thugs, and it has a lot of color and fun, and it's showing the cartoonish idea of what like people think actually racism is.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like that's not the case anymore. It all this shit is just ridiculous and funny. Look how stupid it all is.
Right. I mean, it's like nowadays, like when you hear about like the supposed hate crimes that people have committed on other people. It's like it's so cartoonish. You can't help but laugh at it. You hear about these people that get like the swastika painted on like their garage, and but the swastika happens to be the wrong orientation, or Nazi is spelled wrong. And it's like
And it's all
if
it's
you are an
because
actual
they're all
Nazi,
fake.
if you are an actual Nazi, then you do not get the orientation or the direction of a swastika wrong, or nor do you misspell
Hell no.
Nazi.
Hell no.
And so now it's just like when people like when it's funny because one of the podcasts that I listen to, Beauty and the Beta, they have a segment called Hoax Hate of the Week.
Yeah, and it's like 95% of this shit is fake.
Exactly. I mean,
And
we're not
and
saying
that's
that
like
we're not saying that there aren't
conservative
instances
estimate.
of people actually spray painting swastikas or whatever, but we're saying like the vast majority of those instances are complete horseshit.
And I'm saying 95%, that's a conservative estimate. It's probably closer to 99% is fake bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I completely, I completely disagree with even the concept of hate crime.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother like argument too. It's just like it's.
Yeah, because
Well,
what
I hated
what
it.
I'm looking for is someone to if there are hate crimes, then there must be indifferent crimes.
It's like, well, I just had to
It's like if
steal.
someone is like, or because if someone feels like this extreme hatred for someone to even to commit a crime, that there must be, there must be on the other end of the spectrum someone who has no strong feelings and still commits those crimes. There must be. If there's such a thing as a hate crime, there must be something as indifferent crime.
I guess those would be sociopaths.
He's like, we got your prints, we got your DNA. Why'd you? He's like, we just need to know why'd you stab him. It's like, just seemed like the thing to do.
It's like, well, I mean, I don't really know this person, but fuck, I gotta stab somebody, right?
I know, right? He was there. I was there. I had the knife in my hand. Might as well stab people.
Fuck it.
See, and that's me making fun of hate crimes.
Well, I hated it.
Oh.
Oh, honestly, that's one of the best lines from The Office, where somebody takes a shit in Michael Scott's office, and he's like claiming it's like, I was part of a hate crime. It's like, and Stanley Hudson, who's like one of the black characters, like, that's not a hate crime. It's like, well, I hated it. Oh my god.
Fantastic. All right, let's. We've been at this for like 2 hours, so let's wrap this up. Rating
Yeah,
time.
let's do it.
And I think I know what you're gonna give this, but go ahead.
Because since we're reviewing comedies, as a comedy, this is definitely a 5-star comedy.
Thank you. And
If
I
could give it more
agree.
stars, I would give it more stars. But 5-star comedy,
Right.
must see.
Yes, 5-star. This is comedy of comedies because it's doing exactly what comedy is supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be acting. It's supposed to make this. It's supposed to make the serious absurd, and it's slaughtering sacred cows.
I would argue this might be the greatest comedy of all time.
I would concur. I would concur.
I would say, yeah, and as a personal thing, this is probably my favorite comedy.
Absolutely. I mean, even though this movie came out in the 70s, it's still there were multiple moments in this movie that multiple gags in this movie that made me legitimately laugh out loud.
Oh yeah. Oh, and two notable whatchamacallit, cameos in this film.
Uh-huh.
We have Higgins from Magnum PI was in it, and the was it the other Lebowski from the Big Lebowski, the rich Lebowski was in this as well.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. He's one of the both of them are the townsfolk, which are all named Johnson.
Oh, right. That's right. Everyone's last name is Johnson.
Maybe they're all related. Ew.
Maybe they're all Mormon.
But no, here's the thing too. Like I think they're all named Johnson because they're trying to like think that like all these, dumb white Southerners, they're all fucking incest, related.
Inbred and
Exactly.
yeah,
I
I
think
picked
that
I
was
picked up on that
that's
too.
fucking racist incest bitches. It's
Incest bitches. All right. Well, yes, there you have it. Blazing Saddles. Perfect score 5 from both me and Robert. If you haven't watched this magnum opus from Mel Brooks, do yourself a favor and watch it. All right, because you will be laughing your ass off, and if you aren't, then you just might be dead inside.
absolutely.